But switching gears here, for Chelsea, it's been 2 games and it has not been looking great. Is it time to panic for Chelsea and for Chelsea assets going into the season? There was talk about Havertz and Pulisic and Werner and Ziyech, and they were just exciting, and they looked like they were going to be scoring a lot of goals. And 2 weeks is still a pretty small data point, but it has not looked good at all. They have not been creating. Havertz is playing too far back, although he looked really good in the League Cup today, I will say. But yeah, is it time to panic for Chelsea? Tazz?
I don't think so. You got to take into account 2 of their fixtures. The first game, they played Gameweek 1. They played against Brighton and they won 3-1. None of those. Pulisic is still injured now, so he didn't even get a chance to play. Havertz is the only one that I was kind of like consider, maybe like bailing on him and taking him out. He's yet to take a shot, I believe, in the both games. I don't think he played a full 90 in either game though. I have Werner currently in my team. I'm still keeping him. He returned only 1 assist in these 2 games, but the second game was against a Liverpool team, who were pretty much almost fully. They were fully fit against the Chelsea squad. That still missing Pulisic and Ziyech, which I believe when those 2 guys come back, they will. It'll be a total different team. So I'm kind of holding off on Werner. Still, he's if you look at his heat map, he's kind of all over the box, and I think he's kind of unlucky not to return a goal in these first 2 game weeks. And going forward, I think I'm still giving him a couple more weeks chances before I take him out. He plays West Brom next week. Then he plays Crystal Palace at home, which I think are I think after that game week 4, I'll be, if he still has yet not to return points and Chelsea are looking worse and worse, then maybe that's when I'll take him out.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way about Werner. He's actually looked decent. He's looked the best out of all the assets, in my opinion. I had Havertz, but I took him out. I'm holding on to Werner this week. Really good matchup against West Brom. Might even captain him this week. I'm giving that some consideration, but we'll get into that later. I'm giving Werner a couple more weeks, and if he doesn't return, he's out. And as for the rest of the assets and for Chelsea in general, I think we just have to wait. We have, like you said, Taz, we got to wait for Pulisic and Ziyech to come back, and we got to wait for them to be fully healthy. It has not looked good, but it's not time to panic. Maybe get some of those. Maybe get Havertz out of your team if you want, or with the way he played in the League Cup today, maybe hold on to him. Definitely not time to panic yet. Gash, what are you thinking?
So speaking of captaining Werner, after I was reading about how he was looking so far and how West Brom have been looking in the opposite way, bad. I think I might be captaining him this weekend. So he has 5 shots in the box, which is the 5th most of all forwards, 12 touches in the penalty area, which is tied for the 4th most of all forwards. So, I was looking at that. I was like, okay, he's still, doing pretty well. He's getting the chances and everything. Maybe they're not extremely clear cut yet. But we know he's a deadly finisher from the Bundesliga. I think he finished last season with, somewhere in the high 20s in goals. It was 26 or 27, I believe. And then looking on the other side of things, West Brom they've expected goals conceded. So just expected goals on the other side of more than 7 after just 2 games, which is absurd. That's like Norwich, post lockdown crap form that they're in right now. And the other thing I was looking at is, like you mentioned, Havertz has not been solid so far in the Premier League, but he did just score a hat trick today against Barnsley. And Barnsley is, it's not a surprise. Barnsley.
Who?
Barnsley, man.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a surprise that Chelsea walked all over them. But sometimes in like a player's mindset, even when they get going against the worst team, they just start hitting form, and it just takes them to the next level where they can start creating the chances and maybe even having the confidence to attempt like a risky pass. So I'm seriously considering captaining Werner this weekend, and I think I'm going to hold him for at least a couple more weeks. Southampton. Werner's the type of player that likes to make the runs in behind. And they play Southampton in just a few weeks. And I mean, we saw what Son did to Southampton when, another player that likes to make runs in behind Southampton's high line. So Southampton don't change their style. I think that's another week I'd consider captaining Werner as well.
Yeah, you brought up his Bundesliga stats. I just wanted to say real quick, he had 28 goals and 8 assists in the league. So he's not somebody who just scores goals. He also likes to be involved in the build-up. And
Right.
it could be really enticing once they have all those other attacking assets all running around together. Then Werner looks to be a solid option for all that. And yeah, definitely don't give up on Kai Havertz yet. It's definitely a confidence thing with him. The kid's still just 21 years old, moving to a new country and everything. And a hat trick, even against a lowly team like that, could be enough to get him going and then light that fire under him. C4, are you panicking if you're Frank Lampard and Chelsea?
I mean, from an FPL perspective, I'm not panicking because I don't own any Chelsea assets. But I think I said this before Gameweek 1 that I kind of saw Chelsea not being a viable FPL option for a couple of game weeks just because we didn't know how things would shake out. To me, I would only think that from the attacking 6, Werner and Pulisic would be the only ones I would consider. Pulisic, obviously, not anymore, but Werner is a solid option. To me, it was only for my team. It was him or Kane. I think Kane will outscore him over like the first 8 or 9 game weeks. But yeah, if I'm looking at Chelsea FPL assets right now, it's either Werner, Pulisic, or if you're looking at to get on their defense, a little bit of James.
Yeah. I mean, you can't expect him to have 28 goals and 8 assists again like he did last season in the Bundesliga, but those numbers it's not something you see every day. This is a hell of a player we're talking about here. Rough start, but still only priced at $9.5 million, which is not bad for a premium striker compared to what we've seen in previous years. So yeah, I'm sticking with him. Definitely giving him a chance this week against West Brom. Definitely giving him a chance in the next couple weeks. Yeah, so not time to panic, and sounds like we're all saying Werner's the best option for now. Anybody else have any comments on Chelsea?
I mean, I hope they do
All right.
poorly from actual
from a real life perspective, I hope they have a poor season, but I don't see that happening with all these signings, and they're getting rid of Kepa. Finally, it looks like that Mendy deal's going through. So
I think it's going to be announced tomorrow, so depending on where you are, the 24th.
Yeah, so Kepa's done, so that might help them out a little bit. He cost them points again, but let's not talk about him.